that you may be a powerful and creative, compassionate and loving spirit who is living one painful experience after the other. It's not because you are a compassionate and powerful and loving and creative spirit acting with the awareness and the consciousness of your creative capacity and your responsibility for it, but because you are pretending that you are invisible, that you are small, that you are not accountable for the choices that you make, that you are not seen, that you are not heard. And so you are creating powerfully and unconsciously. So this goes back to your question. We're talking about moving toward consciousness, because as you become conscious of your decisions, it simply means that you have the capacity to make fewer of them unconsciously, which means automatically, robotically, habitually. For example, shouting when you're angry, withdrawing when you're jealous, eating when you feel insecure. Those are all choices made without thought, without conscious volition. But each choice that you make is a powerful creation. As you become aware in your life, you don't become a more powerful creator, you become a more aware creator. It's not possible for you to be a more powerful creator. So look at what you're creating. And as soon as you do, everyone wants to live a life of love. That's how they started. But how do you do it? When you're so angry, you want to strangle someone. How do you do it? When you're so jealous that you feel like your insides are being eaten with acid. How do you do it when you don't want to live anymore and you can't get out of bed and you want to die? How do you do it when you feel so inadequate that you can't imagine anyone ever wanting to be with you? Has anyone ever felt anything like that? Be honest.
No one? Only me?
I want to suggest something. Everyone feels that. Everyone alive on the earth. This is the pain of powerlessness. And everyone has it. It's wanting to be included and feeling excluded. It's feeling that you're intrinsically flawed, inherently defective, that you cannot love and you need to be loved, that you want to love and you're incapable of loving, and it's excruciating. These are all the pain, experiences of the pain of powerlessness. And when we were a 5-sensory species, we covered or attempted to mask the pain of powerlessness by controlling what was outside of us, manipulating and controlling circumstances. This is the pursuit of external power. If a marriage fell apart, we married someone else. If a child died, we conceived another. If a business failed, we built another. If we felt so inadequate, so insecure, so unworthy, then we had sex with one woman after another, or one man after another, That's what I did. That was how I masked the pain of powerlessness in my life for decades. But now,
Having sex with one woman after another?
yeah, sometimes one or two twice in a row. But in general, there was no relationship. There was just the exploitation of someone who was exploiting me as much as I was exploiting her. That was one of the things I saw on my journey out of sexual addiction. What I thought was manly was not manly at all. It was ugly. It was two people mutually exploiting one another. So that just for a moment...
You know how I would say it? I would say that there were two of you that had certain parts of your personalities that were very active, that you didn't know how to do anything else but do that. Because you didn't know how to feel the pain that you would have had to feel instead of doing that. Is that true?
Yes, exactly. Exactly true. And what Brenda and I are offering you through this talk, through the books that we write, through the workshops that we give, and every other modality that we are striving to bring into being, will be to provide you tools that you can use, if you choose, to bring more awareness and more conscious, constructive choices into your life. Because that's how you create authentic power. You can't wish it or pray it, or visualize it, or meditate it into being. All of those things help. But until you put your commitment into changing yourself, you're not going to change. And this is how the Earth School works.
So can I talk a little bit about that? Can I see that book for a second? This one. Yeah, this one. Thank you, Marianne. This is Marianne's book, but I just want to say, in this book, it's so interesting because this book was written because of all the experiences that Gary and I have had in spiritual partnership. And all the experiences that we've had with people over the years who we've been working together to create spiritual partnerships with each other and to be in, to create authentic power ourselves. So in other words, my creation of authentic power allows me to be in a spiritual partnership. So I wanted to answer your question, Marianne. You asked a question about what it takes to be in a spiritual partnership and how it's different than a relationship.
Making those distinctions.
Exactly. So in the book, you'll see a whole set of guidelines. But I'm going to give you just the key ideas. The first guideline has to do with commitment. And the first guideline, the reason it has to do with commitment, that means commitment to your own spiritual growth. That means that no matter what, your spiritual growth is your highest priority. The most important thing for you, no matter what, you want to create for yourself. You do not want to be trying to get someone else to do something for you or take responsibility for you. You don't try to change anyone else. What you do is you change yourself. That's the most important thing. And if you're not really committed to your own spiritual growth and to, in other words, to yourself, and changing yourself, changing the parts of you that are based in fear, and
to creating authentic power.
Yes.
That's what we mean by spiritual growth.
Yes, and cultivating the parts of you that are already loving. So that's what I cultivate as much as I can every day. I do my best to make choices more and more in love rather than fear. That sounds really easy. It's an easy intellectual concept, very difficult to do. I have been working on it and working on it and working on it for a very long time. So to be in spiritual partnership, the first thing is at first I thought a spiritual partnership meant we were committed to each other. And I thought it was, because it was with Gary, I thought, I need to make a commitment to my partner. What I realized is that no spiritual partnership is about being committed to the other person. The only way you can be in any spiritual partnership, whether it be with a mate or a friend or anyone else or a granddaughter, our granddaughters are spiritual partners with us because we have been learning how to, first of all, be committed to our own growth, our own the creation of authentic power, which means, this is what it means to me. It means I'm committed to changing all the parts of me that are based in fear and cultivating all the parts of me that are based in love. That's what it means to me. So the second part of that, the second area of guidelines is about courage. And this is where the rubber meets the road. Oh my goodness. It's about taking responsibility for everything that you're feeling. So if someone does something you don't like, instead of blaming them, you feel what you're feeling. If you're feeling something, if you are having a reaction, you make sure that you feel that in you so that you're not blaming them. So that when you do say something to them, it's from a grounded and loving place. I don't mean that you're a doormat. I just mean that you say it from a grounded and loving place, what you need to say, whatever that is. And it means being in your integrity all the time and saying things that are difficult to say. So this is quite different than any kind of relationship I was ever in. And so those are some of the things I can tell you. It's about being compassionate. It's about consciously speaking, consciously saying and doing what you need to do, consulting your intuition, being aware of what you're feeling, being aware of your thoughts, and not choosing to say anything with fear or act in fear, but act in love instead. So those are some of the differences that I have seen in what that means to me to be in a spiritual partnership. It also means that you have this opportunity to co-create in ways you could not even imagine, because you are really in your integrity with each other. You're not pleasing each other, you're not pushing each other away, you're actually doing things with speaking and doing things that allow for things to happen that couldn't possibly happen